Thanks for choosing us. Tonight, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, has laid a fresh minerals and mining royalty regulation before Parliament. The new bill seeks to introduce variable royalty bands for gold, lithium and other minerals tied to global prices. This means royalty rates will rise and fall with commodity prices, potentially boosting government's revenue. This move follows controversy over the Ewoya lithium deal and pressure from CSOs and communities for a better deal. Imani Africa's suggestion of a sliding scale system seems to have been influenced in this new bill. And let's listen to the senior research associate at Imani, Dennis Asari, speaking about the sliding scale system during CSO's engagement with government.
Should prices go as low as 800, we believe that at a royalty rate of 10%, the net margin is 110, and that if we charge a royalty rate of 5%, it then reduces how much the country can get. And at a royalty rate of 10%, we could be making around $80 per ton. But the company's net margin is going to be around $110. But if we charge 5%, then it gives us $40 per ton. Then the net margin of the company then becomes the $150 per ton. Now, if you come to the current price, that's the recovery, and we call it recovery because at the spot level, this is the price between 1,000 to 1,002. Even at the recovery level, that is the current spot price. And if you look at the 10% royalty rate that was in the previous agreement, it gives us $120 per ton, and the net margin is $470. But if you charge 5%, then it minimizes how much the company would have given to the country. And so our argument is that the royalty rate that we put in agreement should reflect the market dynamics. And that's why we are proposing for the sliding scale with a minimum floor of 10%, which means that even if the price should crash below 1,000 at 10%, the net margin is very positive. And that is because the mine, if you look at the way the cost mine and the geology of the Ewoya mine, it posts one of the low production cost profile, which means that it is very cheaper to produce compared to other mines or other lithium mines across the world, based on the company's own estimation. But we should set a minimum floor of 10% so that, and a sliding scale condition that if prices go beyond a specific margin, the country is able to cover more.
Well, the Institute for Economic Affairs, IAA, for instance, believes that Ghana must move beyond royalty charges to own its own resources. Dr. Charles Mensah is economist and founder of IAA and also spoke at the committee engagement.
Our estimation of this lithium is $172 billion. That's the total, the value of what is. If you take the quantum that has been described by the lithium company, by the Australian company, they're saying they are finding a quantum of 1.6 billion tons. Now, there's a conversion ratio to convert from the raw lithium to what they sell is called lithium carbonate. So the process is to convert your raw lithium to lithium carbonate. That conversion ratio is about 5.3. When you do that calculation, and today's value of lithium is about $90,000, you're looking at about $172 billion as of today. A few months ago, it was even higher. It was about $240 billion. Prices have gone down. It's about $172 billion. This is the value of what we have. Should we give this to Mr. Atlantic and his friends? That's the question we have to ask.
While addressing journalists in Parliament, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, noted that the LI, which applies to all mining agreements, offers greater certainty and predictability for both government and investors.
The advantage is that it allows the state to capture the benefit in good times, like in the gold sector. And I have to tell you, we've done it across the mineral sector. In the gold sector, for example, when the price, for example, in the lithium agreement was negotiated, at that time, lithium was $3,000. They achieved 3,000. They achieved 10%. But today, with the sliding scale I've brought, even when we get to 2,500, we achieve 10%. When we get to 3,000 because of the sliding scale, 3,000 plus, we'll go to 12%. In fact, if you do the calculation, at that point, it means that 3,000 government is saving almost over $500 million. And so this sliding scale, but let me also say that this sliding scale also gives the companies consideration when prices tumble in difficult times.
However, the ranking member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, Kweku Amprechum Sapong, argues that the deal undermines the public interest and weakens confidence in the country's resource governance framework.
Despite this sharp decline in global prices, Barari DV was still prepared to proceed with the 10% arrangement. And I'm saying this portion is extremely important because the government is playing some mind games with us, of the whole country. You don't need Einstein to come and tell you that the whole thing smells. There is something wrong somewhere. There is something fishy somewhere. And it's for Ghanaians to decide. It's for Ghanaians to make the noise. No responsible legislator invokes these provisions lightly. However, where patterns of decision-making undermines public interest and weaken confidence in resource governance, Parliament has a duty to act.
Away from Parliament, earlier today, fire gutted a market at the prison's residence at Cantonment, destroying several stalls and goods worth thousands of cedis. My colleague Stephen Mensah was at the scene and filed this report.
Antiabna may have suffered her hardest blow yet. With less than 5 days to Christmas, she has lost everything: her business, her source of livelihood, and the place she occasionally called home.
I have 3,000 cedis in my shop, but I cannot find it. My industrial, knitting and sewing machines are all gone.
Because me a single mother.
I am a single mother, and I am appealing to the government for assistance.
Together with other traders, Abna is now counting her losses. Losses which may be running into several thousands of cedis. Chief Fire Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Daniela Mawusi Into Sapon, says reducing market fires will require intensified public education and sustained sensitization among traders.
And then there needs to be very careful around this time, the festive seasons. It's very important we all sit down and then critically know the causes and what we can do to prevent these fires during this period.
The service is also calling for the active involvement of all Ghanaians in preventing market fires. ACFO 2 Desmond Akka is the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service.
Many a times we do say that fire safety is a shared responsibility. It does not only rest with the Ghana National Fire Service. So ahead of the festive season, the Chief Officer has activated the market fire safety team, and as part of their mandate they will be visiting major and satellite markets to be able to prep up fire safety consciousness in the traders.
For the residents and traders living here in the prisons market in Cantonment, they are appealing to government to urgently support them as they've lost all their wares. Reporting for JoyNews, I'm Stephen Mensah.
Away from that, Director General of the National Road Safety Authority warns that legalizing commercial motorcycles must not open the door to lawlessness. Speaking at the launch of a new speed reconstruction campaign in Accra, Ibrahim Amaliba stressed that safety must remain top priority. The following report has more.
The National Road Safety Authority is reassuring the public that the legalization of commercial motorcycles, known as Okada, will not lead to lawlessness on the roads. At the launch of a new speed reduction campaign in Accra, Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Ibrahim Amaliba, urged riders to adhere to all traffic regulations.
The law has just been passed. It is awaiting presidential assent. We think that using this period to throw light on Okada and commercial motor riders is very key. I caution them that the passage of the law or making their activities legal does not mean a license for them to misbehave on the roads. It's not a license for them to disregard road regulations. It is rather a responsibility placed on them to ensure that they respect the road regulations, they conduct themselves in a way that will allow for their continuous existence as commercial motor riders.
The Okada riders urge government to organize training programs for its members to ensure strict adherence to law. James Morgan is the National Road Safety Officer of the Okada Riders Association of Ghana.
I can tell you that we have about 60,000 riders who are doing Okada in Ghana currently. So now, as a road safety manager, I've taken it upon myself, bringing all the boys to run a training for them, period by period, because now I've realized that the accident statistics keeps increasing. And we have done a down check. Why the accident? Because we are lacking of training. If we give them training, they will be able to correct themselves.
Meanwhile, the National Road Safety Authority, in partnership with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and Bloomberg Philanthropies, launched a speed reduction campaign aimed at curbing speeding among Okada riders.
Let's shift our attention now to the education sector. The Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu, said he is worried about the prolonged strike by CTAG, which stems from government's failure to fully implement the association's 2023 conditions of service. According to him, the situation is currently taking a serious toll on academic activities in various schools. Fatal Bayaga has more in the following report.
As part of efforts to improve efficiency and mobility across the various colleges of education in the country, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has today presented 20 vehicles to the various principals of these colleges. This is part of the first batch of this particular initiative.
As part of President Mohammed's reset, we intend to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the heads of institutions, particularly in monitoring and supervision.
He also said steps are underway to address the concerns of CTAG in terms of their conditions of service.
CTAG, I'm reminded, is on strike. We need industrial peace and harmony on the campuses of learning. When you prolong your strike action, it does affect career planning and the career path development of the young people. I discussed with Honorable Finance Minister for even this morning. I woke up to the same matter. We are mobilizing the 41 million to pay. So it is not as if we are not committed to.
Meanwhile, the board chairman of GTEC, Professor Muhammad Dewejua, said this is a good initiative in terms of helping academic activities in these colleges of education.
These cars is just not vehicles for movement, but for us it's a very significant thing to contribute towards the provision of quality education for colleges of education.
For the various principals of these beneficiary institutions, this will help them in improving their mobility.
We've been suffering with mobility. Our only vehicle we had was involved in an accident which took the life of our late principal. And so even when we were doing the inauguration of councils, our council chairman mentioned it. And so for us, we are grateful to the government.
I'm so excited. You know, the last time the colleges were giving vehicles, official vehicles, were somewhere in 2007. So it's been a very long time. The one we currently use is not functional. Sometimes you have to board commercial vehicle coming from all the way from Enchi, which is in the Western North region, to Accra.
Reporting for Joy News, Fatao Bayaga, Accra.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. When we return after this quick 10, we'll tell you why you should look forward to the Joy FM family party in the park. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break to other stories now. The Ghana National Fire Service has issued a one-week ultimatum to fuel stations and private institutions found flouting fire safety protocols to regularize their operations or face sanctions. The directive forms part of nationwide efforts to enforce safety standards ahead of the rollout of government's 24-hour economy policy. The Chief Fire Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Daniela Mausinto Sapon, says the exercise is aimed at ensuring workspaces, commercial centers and public facilities are safe and fit for extended operations.
For the 24-hour economy policy, we, the Fire Service, we are very serious and we support the policy by the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And I can assure you, we are going to do our best to ensure that it's rolled on and it's rolled on well. Thank you very much.
As the Christmas festivities approach, the service is also urging the public to exercise heightened caution to prevent avoidable fire outbreaks and other disasters. Revelers are being advised to be mindful of activities such as cooking, drinking and smoking, which often trigger fire incidents during the festive season.
Christmas is an enjoyment period, so as we enjoy, we should be very, very careful of how we are going to do our things. Those cooking, those drinking, those smoking. Electricians, you know we have these Christmas trees and other electrical decorations in our homes. We should make sure they don't cause any harm. Those traveling, drivers drinking before traveling and driving, we plead with them to desist from that. So I'll have a very peaceful Christmas, both in terms of fire and other serious disasters.
Away from fire, the Asantehene Otumfuo II has rejected a proposal by the National House of Chiefs to include Queen Mothers in the formal sitting of the various regional House of Chiefs, describing the move as inconsistent with the established customary practices. According to him, the proposal, though well intended, does not align with the customary framework that governs chieftaincy institutions. Nana Boachi Adam has more in this report.
The last sitting of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, chaired by the Asantehene Otumfuo II, deliberated on several matters concerning the chieftaincy institution in the region. Several proposals from the National House of Chiefs were deliberated upon, including the creation of a chamber for Queen Mothers and their inclusion into the various regional Houses of Chiefs. The Asantehene noted that while Queen Mothers play critical and respected roles in traditional governance, succession and community leadership, their functions are distinct from those of chiefs within the formal setting of adjudication and deliberation of the Houses of Chiefs.
It is statutory, you know,
nobody can change our customs from the National House of Chiefs. Our chieftaincy system is different. Nobody should dare make changes. Our Queen Mothers have special powers. They select kings, and that's our custom. Even the creation of House of Chiefs is not our culture. Let nobody try to change it.
He cautioned against attempts to introduce changes to chieftaincy institutions without a solid customary basis, warning that such moves could create confusion and undermine the integrity of traditional authority.
And I mean, the constitution, no boy, and the institution of chieftaincy, together with the traditional councils as established by customary law and usage, is hereby guaranteed in the constitution. Your customary usage, say any asante, memata, say any fadrin, any mamma, to any eka. Na so be to krata bi se mo bi maye we de enye mamane enye no constitution e free nyina so no is clearly specified there. The
constitution is clear. Our customs allow queen mothers to sit at home and guide us. I will not allow anybody to change that.
The Asantehene also admonished chiefs to strengthen their engagements with district health and educational authorities to have first-hand details on developmental projects in their communities.
The district director of health, district director of education,
For JoyNews, Nana Boachidanko Yadom, Kumase.
Ghana's rice-growing regions are facing a new threat: illegal mining. The Food and Drugs Authority has raised the alarm, warning that contaminants from nearby mining sites could compromise the quality and safety of locally produced rice. Authorities are urging farmers and communities to be vigilant and take precautionary measures to ensure that crops are protected from pollution. Michelle Latte reports.
The Food and Drugs Authority is raising concern over the impact of Galamsey on the rice-producing communities, warning that contaminants could threaten Ghana's food security. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the United Nations iTech Rice Project, Head of Food Evaluation and Registration at the FDA, Percy Jekum, appealed to the government of Japan to partner Ghana in establishing a national laboratory to test rice, a move he says would strengthen food safety and quality control nationwide. And
this is an appeal that if the government of Japan, to UNIDO, could partner the Food and Drugs Authority to establish a reference lab dedicated for Ghana rice. Most importantly, now that as a country, the challenges of Galamsey is affecting the very areas that rice are produced. And you know that these contaminants leach into the food along the chain.
A beneficiary of the project, Memunatu Al-Hassan, shared how the intervention has positively impacted her rice production business.
As a processor, we use firewood, and with the intervention of the briquetting machine from UNIDO, we now convert the rice chaff, which formerly we used to dispose of at a cost. So this time we use it for fuel wood, and it's what we use for our processing.
Going forward, UN Industrial Development Organization Project Manager Nicholas Mathers says measures have been put in place to ensure the gains made under the project are sustainable.
We have made sure within our intervention to always focus on sustainability. We have approaches such as the trainers approaches to be able to ingrain the knowledge within the trainers so that this knowledge can then, even after the project, be further conveyed to beneficiaries. We have made sure we had some knowledge products also which will remain, where beneficiaries can look up current insights and relearn again some things that we have taught them.
The project has strengthened rice quality control, laying a foundation for safer production across Ghana's rice value chain. For JoyNews, Michelle Latte.
Spokesperson for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Mahmoud Kabori, hails the revocation of controversial legislative instrument LI 2462 as a step in the right direction. The LI had previously granted the President authority to approve mining activities in forest reserves. Speaking on JoyNews Dex earlier today, Mr. Kabori said the scrapping of the law shows the government's political will to protect Ghana's natural resources.
And so for me, I think it is about taking a step towards a bold era where we all have a very lasting solution to protecting our forest reserves and preserving them for the next generation. What has happened has indicated clearly that this government have shown the political will as far as protecting our natural resources and fighting the menace of illegal mining is of concern. The other conversation about we having very clear laws, critical laws that looks at how to enforce protection is also a conversation for another day. Already, when you look at the guidelines for EPA, the guidelines for forestry commissions, they are there to strengthen protection of our forest reserves. If we want to go a step further in strengthening those laws, those guidelines, that is a conversation for another day. But as we speak, the revocation of LI 2462 is a step in the right direction, and we all must commend government.
Well, still on the environment, environmental scientists mapping air pollution across Accra have identified La Ayawaso North and at least 3 other districts as major air pollution hotspots. The pollution levels in some areas were sometimes 8 times higher than the World Health Organization recommended levels. Managing Director of PSS Ubania, Dr. Joseph Aitio, said household fuel and the use of indiscriminate burning are key drivers of the pollution, and he's urging authorities to focus action on the most affected communities. He spoke earlier to my colleague Michael Ashali.
4 sites were of particular interest. The rest were below, but 4 particular sites. Ablekuma North, particularly Kwashima cluster of schools, where there's an open playing field and then nearby construction activities. Okaikwe North, particularly Abufu Junction, where there's a lot of vehicle spraying and burning of metals and plastic waste. Ladade Kotopong, again, particularly because of the activities that I mentioned, and then Ayawaso Central. Then we also measured sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. Those are gases. The sources of pollution for those gases usually are emissions from biomass burning or vehicular, like diesel engines and open waste burning. When we measured those gases, there were concentrations above the World Health and EPA guidelines were significantly higher in 10 out of the 30 MMDs.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We're back after this quick turn. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. To other stories now, President John Dramani Mahama has called for greater unity among Africans at home and in the diaspora, describing the current moment as critical for action. Speaking at the 2025 Diaspora Summit, he urged Africans around the world to come together with one voice, saying the time has come to advance reform and speak boldly and clearly against injustices confronting the continent and its people globally. Maxwell Wawa reports.
Breathtaking performances by the Mansa Musa World team at the first day of the 2-day 2025 Diaspora Summit, which brought together members of the diaspora, government officials, traditional leaders, and other stakeholders. The event featured a strong call for reparations for historical injustices against Africa. Chairman of the Grenada Reparations Committee, Ali Nicole Salimbi Gill, made a powerful appeal for reparations and praised President Mahama's speech at the United Nations for its clarity and urgency on the matter.
That they must express sincere sorrow for so doing, give a commitment that it will not happen again, and ask us for forgiveness. After all, this is not different from the Christian teachings that they have taught us. Mr. President, we note with great satisfaction, uncontrolled excitement, and great expectation your pledge to file a motion in the United Nations to have slavery declared as one of the greatest crimes against humanity.
Renowned American lawyer and activist Ben Crump also commended President Trump's address, emphasizing the need for reparations and justice for Africa and its people.
His Excellency,
President John Dramani Mahama for that historic speech in New York City at the United Nations. I applaud you. We stand for you for that historic proclamation on behalf of all of Africa. Because President Mahama, your leadership has let Ghana show the world what moral leadership looks like. And we need it now today more than ever.
Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa said the 2025 Diaspora Summit should mark the start of concrete action to strengthen global calls for reparations.
Our time is now. Let history record that this summit marked the moment when we moved beyond rhetoric to coordinated action, and when we unreservedly demanded justice for the greatest sin against humanity. In so doing, we honor our ancestors by insisting that their plight be recognized, that their pain and suffering be remembered, and that their dignity be restored. We may be the answers to the prayers of our ancestors, but our children will be the beneficiaries of our refusal to be defined by the wounds of the past.
As parents plan their activities for their children this Christmas season, the search often comes down to one thing: a safe outdoor space where kids can simply be kids. One event that has consistently delivered that experience is a Joy FM family party in the park, an annual family picnic that has grown into a favorite for children in the country, with games, play zones and open spaces designed especially for young ones. The event has become a highlight for many this festive season. My colleague Noella Kariale shares why children keep looking forward to the Joy FM family party in the park in this report.
So you just have that endorsement from these kids here who are enjoying the bouncing castle.
One event that continues to stand out as a favorite amongst children is Joy FM's family party in the park. Held every December 26th at the Ibri Botanical Gardens, the family-focused picnic has become a go-to destination for parents looking to give their children a day filled with laughter, adventure, and safe outdoor fun.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be here with the family to celebrate this wonderful day for our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's a wonderful day, and we thank you for this wonderful gathering.
From colorful bouncy castles and interactive games to puzzles, Ludo, and other engaging activities, the event offers a mix of play that entertains while supporting early brain development. The wide open space also allows children to run freely, make new friends, and enjoy hands-on experiences away from screens and enclosed indoor settings.
Hi, what's your name? Can I sit on this? I can sit on it? No way. No, I'm not doing this again. Hi, what's your name? What? Okay, you're having fun on the bouncing castle?
Yes.
How long have you been here? 2 hours. And you've just been bouncing. Perez, you got a gift from Santa Claus.
Yes.
Are you happy?
Yes.
You like the gifts?
Yes.